Hey, this is Max. Welcome back to another CSR2 video. I'm seeing a lot of questions on Facebook and even through my crews about what is going on with this TS1 GT Evolution Cup. How come I have so many stage 6s and most of the fusions and somehow I can't make it through? Here, we're looking at 120 out of 128 fusions installed on full stage 6s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'm only short 8 fusions. And yet, look at this car's tune. Those 8 fusions would make such a huge difference in the overall performance of the car that I cannot get above 2000 Evo with all those stage 6s. I am only dynoing 7.934. Now, mind you, you could hit a little bit faster than that with the tune, but you're not going to hit 7.7s without some crazy luck or great shifting or magical shifting, as the case may be. So let's take a test run and let's see where this car is at, missing only 8 epic fusions. Okay, so I'm going to do a run here with just 8 epic fusions short. Third gear nitrous, because we have a long duration going. 7.857. Not enough to get through the end. You'll be stuck right around race 12 or so with that time. Not only that, you also have a problem hitting that mile per hour that is listed for the quarter mile. At this point, you have to run a 331 mile per hour. Yes, you can tune for it, and the tune is basically a little bit less grip. Okay, but not too much less. There's a point at which too little grip actually hurts you in the initial acceleration, so it takes away your ability to hit the quarter mile with a certain speed. As far as the final gear tuning, you basically want to tune it right around the middle here, because you want to be able to hit at the top of 5th gear the final target number that you want, which is 331 miles per hour. Nitrous can be adjusted a little bit. Shorter or longer can help a little bit overall with the way this will react. So 321 here, I would actually just put it to 4.0 if I plan to run really late nitrous, or you can put it to about 4.4, 4.7, which will theoretically give you the best time possible. Okay, so let's run a quarter mile, and let's see what we can get as far as the speed trap is concerned with the tuning. This is actually a decent tune for speed trap, so let's see if it'll help us here with getting all the way through. Now, driving is very similar to the other method, and you can short shift a little bit, but I find that short shifting too much actually doesn't help that much. 23 on a 321. Not so good. Okay, and this is obviously using it with a certain way. Now you can test run more, and I can tell you can probably get a little bit better time out of it. You know, you can play with this and possibly get another few mile per hour out of it, but you're not going to hit 331. So that is the problem here. Why are you not hitting 331? Because your car doesn't have the epic fusions. All right, let's take a look. One more try. And again, launch. And this time I'll go right to 4th early, and boom, a little bit better, 326. So this will get you through the 325 speed trap, but it won't get you through the next one. And it certainly won't get you through the 331 one. So why can't we get to that speed trap? Because you're missing stage 6s. I mean, what am I saying? Fusions. Because of these epic fusions, they're very important for you to hit those speed traps. Just how important are they? Well, let's start adding them and let's see what effects they have on the speed trap. I'm just going to add a nitrous. 1 nitrous, 30 some Evo. Go right back to tuning. Gained quite a few miles per hour. All right, now I'm going to run it again without changing the tune. 329. 3 mile per hour plus gain with 1 epic nitrous fusion. That means if I put in 2 more, chances are I will hit that 331. In fact, I'm going to do that and put the other 2 in right here. Now notice this is a high point fusion. Same thing goes for the rest of these guys. They give you a lot of points. Okay, look at these guys. This one not so much, but intake not as much of an impact. Same thing with engine and body and tire doesn't give you as much impact per fusion, but transmission and intake, I keep saying intake. Transmission and nitrous fusions are huge when it comes to numbers and ability to perform. And as well, turbo, believe it or not, is a big one. So by adding a transfusion now, am I going to be able to hit 331 mile per hour? Well, this didn't really change much, just 1 mile per hour. So it looks like nitrous seems to be the big boy here for the speed traps, but let's find out. Okay, again, we're going to try to launch perfect because it actually helps a little bit. Okay, 330.59 from 329. So we gained 1 mile per hour with 1 transfusion. Now that I see that, I think I have a chance here of actually hitting that mile per hour that I'm looking for. And that is where tuning can probably give me that little extra edge I need. Right around that, if I can get that extra half a mile per hour out of it, I may be able to do this. Now, I did reduce the nitrous duration, which theoretically hurts it, but it's not always the case. Here's why. Because you're going to use the final gears to run this anyway, a little extra nitrous at the end may not hurt you as much as you think. Shorter duration but strong burst may actually get you where you want to be. And there it is, 333 mile per hour. You're now beating that 331. Now, could I have done this with the nitrous fusion only? Well, I didn't test the adjustment, so theoretically it's possible because that transmission fusion only really gave us 1 mile per hour. But in combination, it might have done more. So that's part of the reason why you're stuck. Those nitrous fusions really makes that much of a difference with mile per hour. Plus, the specific tuning has to be adjusted for whichever parts you're running to make it work. And for speed trap purposes, if it was 325, you probably push this down a little bit so the car tops out right near that number so you can get the most out of the 5 gears and the most out of the shorter duration nitrous. Nitrous, again, very important to speed traps. You're just not going to be able to do it without it. Tire grip, you can play it at different settings, but too much this way actually hurts you because your initial acceleration goes so much slower that you don't have enough time to get to that speed trap. And the same with too much grip. Again, the initial acceleration is quicker, but you lose a little bit of the oomph near the end. So the magical spot isn't always the same depending on what fusions you're missing, but bottom line is if you have nitrous epics, it's going to make a big difference. And if you're missing them, it's going to be a big problem. What if you had the fusions? What if you had all the fusions installed? Then can you do without certain stage 6s? The answer to that is also yes, quite easily. Because if you had nitrous stage 6 and fusions, you can actually sacrifice easily turbo and intake and possibly even tire. Still hit certain speed traps, but you're probably going to need these 2 guys to hit the time. Now, just right there tells me with that Evo, missing the transfusion will hurt, but I'm going to be close anyway. 7.805, guess what? Just that tells me right there and right there I can beat the entire cup now, even though I am not using 2 of the stage 6s. So the stage 6s and its respective fusions for the intake and turbo really doesn't affect that much of the final performance, so much so that you can't beat the race. But missing more really would hurt you. Another alternative pattern would be if you're missing tire, but you have turbo, you can still cut it close. But if you're missing engine, trans, or Nitrous stage 6, you're probably not going to make it. It just, in and of itself, those stage 6s are too important. And the fusions are too important. Here, it doesn't look like I'm going to make it unless I retune or I do something. But notice the mile per hour dropped a lot by taking out those 5 tire fusions. So the tire, again, without a few fusions, you may be able to get away with it, but without the stage 6 and the fusions, you're not going to make it. Whereas if you do put this guy in, which is 29 points by itself, it again changes the dynamics. And here, once again, all of a sudden, you now have a chance of hitting 331 because you're only 6.8 whatever mile per hour off, which is really not that much. The time here, though, is not good, but you can tune around that because remember, this is an acceleration and speed trap tune, not the best running tune. So now that I put that turbo fusion in, let's see if we can hit 331. All right, here we go. Boom, 333, no problem. So mile per hour is still there. I'm not using tire stage 6 and I'm not using intake stage 6, and I'm missing 2 transfusions. 333 is no problem. But the problem here now is that time doesn't look so good. However, if you retune real quick and take a look at the time again, 7.919, it's a little tight. Okay, 7.952. However, I know I can get at least a tenth under that. So the question is, can I get into the 7.7s with it? We'll find out. Here we go. Let's try it. Oops, a little early on the nitrous. Still 7.7, like that. So that will get you through the final. So right here, I've just shown you that by adjusting the tune and still missing some parts, right? Let's go back and look at that. The parts are no intake stage 6, 2 missing trans, all of 5 missing fusion off of tire, and 1 stage 6. It'll beat the EVO Cup. So the bottom line here is this. If you're stuck on the speed trap and you have pretty good fusion count, the main reason you're stuck is because, guess what? You're missing nitrous epic fusions. Those 3 nitrous epic fusions probably good for 7-8 miles per hour in the speed traps. And if you're otherwise stuck on the time, then it's an issue of overall parts and you just don't have enough. And that's really why you're stuck, not some other reason. It's not that you're tuning poorly. If you have tuned it at all with 2.0, 0, 100, and 4.0 and run it the way I have shown you, most likely you're going to run about a 10th or 2 under dyno and you should be fine. But you won't be fine if you're missing specific epic fusions that are really important to beating this cup. And that's really the reason why some of you are stuck. And if you only have 110 fusions or 14 fusions, guess what? You just don't have enough. I hate to tell you the bad news, but that is the bottom line. And fortunately, in one case, I have enough fusions for my car to make it through. In this account, obviously it's easy, but this doesn't really count for much because I'm never really going to do anything with that car. However, on my secondary account, which I've been playing for almost 2 years, a year and 8 months probably, because it's as long as I've been doing YouTube, that account is stuck right now because it only has 39 out of 42 upgrades and 108 fusions. That only barely got me through Legendary Golden Cup. So I'm not even taking a shot at the EVO Cup because I have no chance. This EVO Cup is really tough. It's really fusion dependent and part dependent. If you don't have basically a fully maxed car, your chances of getting stuck is pretty good. But if you have the right epic fusions and enough of the stage 6s, you can still make it. That's why, some people post, oh, I made it with just these many fusions and I made it with just that many parts. Yeah, true, depending on what you have. Okay, I'm telling you right now, this, if you count what I have here, you would be total of, let's see, 5, 7, and 9 fusions short. That drops you to about 119 fusions, and 2 stage 6s short, and still made it. So that's what this cup's difficulty level's at. You got to be pretty close to the end. All right, so that was my quick video to explain why you may be stuck, what you might be missing that caused you to be stuck in the Evolution Cup. There's no tuning around that. You got to get those specific fusions. If you can't, I'm sorry, you're just not going to finish. And that's probably intended by the developers. This was not meant to be easy. And in many cases, what will happen is people will have to spend to get the parts the way they want it to actually get through. And that's probably what they're counting on. Okay. Well, I hope this video gave you some insight to the situation with the Evolution Cup. Feel free to ask me questions if you have any. You don't have much time left, so it's either now or never. So if you want that purple star card that badly, you may have to dig into your pockets and buy some bronze keys. I don't plan to do that on my second account. I think I've come to terms with the fact that I'm just not going to make it and let it go. Plus, I'll be honest with you, most of the time when I get these purple star cards, they just sit in my garage stock. I never even bothered to build them. So that's the way I kind of look at this. I'm not really missing out that badly, even if I don't have it on my account that I actually play. Okay, that concludes this video. Hey, if you like the video, do leave a like, and please subscribe to the channel, because I do put up videos regularly, and usually I try to make it somewhat useful to whoever's browsing my videos. And if you like my videos, please, again, subscribe to the channel so you can get notifications, and I'll catch you next time. Have a good one.